Now, relations in the Horn of Africa are rapidly changing. In May, Eritrea and Ethiopia put an end to their state of war. Now, soon after, diplomatic ties were restored after 20 years. Then came a historic meeting between the leaders of Eritrea and Somalia at the end of July, where they too decided to resume ties after years of animosity. Now, a high-level team, including the Eritrean Foreign Minister Osman Saleh, is in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, to help move forward those ambitions. The delegation will discuss the progress of the agreement reached between the two countries. And we can now speak to Professor Mohamed Haji Ingiriis. He is with the Oxford University. Thanks for taking time to talk to us. You are a historian. You've been looking at how rapidly developments have been, taking place in the Horn of Africa. Now, today we see Eritrea in Somalia, in Mogadishu. I wonder what sort of concessions both countries are making in order for these agreements to stand.
Thank you. And I think the engagement between Somalia and Eritrea has not been unusual. If you look at from the perspective of international relations, Eritrea is trying to extricate itself from the isolation that it had been placed since 1998 when it went to war with Ethiopia. It has been out from the IGAD, the neighboring regional organization between Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan. So it now, from the side of Eritrea, it is trying to return back to the region, to the regional politics. It had a good agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Now it's trying to go through Somalia as well to get the vote. It will, sooner or later, Eritrea will go. There will be a vote at the UN, Eritrea to be lift out the sanctions, exactly. The embargo, the economic sanctions. So it has to gain some sort of a trust between the regional states before it go to Africa and the world.
Speaking of the regional state, there's a one critical country in the Horn of Africa, that's Djibouti. Yeah. Djibouti has always been behind Somalia, but Djibouti has always had issues, border problems with Eritrea. Yeah. I wonder now what sort of dynamics we'll be seeing, because Djibouti is obviously not quite happy with this situation.
That's right. The main difficult dynamics that we are witnessing at the moment is that Eritrean leadership is trying to ignore Djibouti to go through Somalia. They should have gone a negotiation with Djibouti before going to Somalia. Now they resolved the issue between Eritrea and Ethiopia. The first step should have been to go to Djibouti before going to Somalia, because Somalia does not share a border with Eritrea, although Somalia shares a long historical attachment between Somalia and Eritrea. If you go back to during the colonization, both of them, especially in the southern Somalia, as well as Eritrea, were colonized by Italians. And for example, in 1949 as well, during the independence, during the UN deliberations, over the issue of independence between Eritrea and Somalia, Somalia and Eritrea, the political parties, the independence groups, agreed to go through the same platform, as well as the button.
So what can Somalia then do? Because obviously they have to play a key role in this. How can they help smoothen the situation?
There is a pressure at the moment on the part of the Somali government to have some sort of to take initiative and to have a negotiation between Djibouti and Eritrea. Yeah. So there is, we are hearing at the moment a very good, optimistic approach, and very well calculated that the Somali government is trying to make Djibouti on board, because many Somalis, both in diaspora as well as at home, they were disillusioned to see Somali president going to Eritrea without consulting with the president of Djibouti.
So there's still a huge issue. I wonder, though, what impact this unity that's now being created by the Horn of Africa countries, what it does to the influence of, say, interventions or, the Arab countries that have always had a role within that region. I wonder whether this will have any impact at all.
Yeah, there was an impact from the Gulf states, especially in the United Arab Emirates. So they haven't intervened from the strict sense of the word, but they have some sort of a backdoor diplomatic shuttle. So we have seen Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates going to the Addis Ababa, talking to the new Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, and making some sort of negotiation between Eritrea and Ethiopia, and it was a successful thing, although there was not a direct intervention between them. So there is optimism whole of the Horn of Africa, this kind of agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia. There was a kind of new chapter, yeah, in the relations, state relations between the Horn of African states. So, and there is also another aspect of a geopolitical strategic interest between the Gulf states, influencing and impacting and infecting how the politics of the Horn are being played at the moment, not just between Eritrea and Ethiopia, but also between Somalia and Ethiopia. The whole relations are now changing. Yeah? The relation was not good, as you know, the Somali and Ethiopia.
So it's quite dynamic, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm afraid we have to leave it there. But Professor Mohamed Haji Ingiriis, this is a situation, of course, we'll be looking at in future as things progress. Thank you for taking time to talk to us on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.